Hi, my name is Peter Roper. I'm known as the Family Businessman, founder of the Family Business Practice, and this is Conversations with Family Business. This is a 15-minute reflective video where we look at a subject that I bring to the table for us to reflect on, think about things inside our own family businesses. I've had 6 family businesses of my own over the last 30 years, and I have literally worked with thousands of family businesses. I'm not sitting here as a guru, very much not so, but these conversations are not super perfect. I've got things laid out here to try and remind me of the things I want to say. And I'm definitely not here as, as somebody that is the savior, if you like. What I have got is experience. What I have got is the ability to share some ideas for you to think and reflect on, for you to do whatever it is you choose to, be it something or nothing. So, I want to talk to you today about structure before conflict. Structure before conflict. I've seen this many times, done it ourselves, and that is we bring something in after there's been some sort of conflict. All right, there's been some aggravation inside the business, and let's be frank. Inside a family business, that means there's been some sort of aggravation that's affected the family. And to me, rightly or wrongly, I believe that family first, business second. Not everybody agrees with that. Some people believe it's business first. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the concept of it. Family businesses start probably 99 times out of 100 to put food on the table, to put food in the fridge, to fill the fridge. That's one of my famous sayings, if you like. And then it kind of expands and grows, and then multi-generations happen, the kids get involved, etc. And aunties, uncles, cousins, nephews, whatever it might be. Here's my point. We're all running at 10,000 miles an hour. We're all giving it our best because, after all, if we don't, the fridge is empty. And I can tell you from personal experience that having an empty fridge is no fun at all. So that can mean quite often that because we're running so hard, it's only when something happens and it kicks off, frankly, something happens and happens, that we might start thinking about conflict. And the problem with that is that it's reactive governance. That's the fancy term for it, reactive governance. We're not being proactive, we're being reactive to govern the business, to control the business. And what we're doing, therefore, is emotional repair. In other words, whatever's kicked off, it means we're upset with our son, daughter, mom, dad, etc. And we don't like that because we're families. And so it's emotional repair after some sort of aggravation that says, you know what, let's put some sort of structure in place. I'll put it another way, because the way the businesses work, we've not had time. We haven't got time for all that. Well, we just get on with it. We're family, we get on with it. We don't formalise except when something kicks off, when there's aggravation, tension, whatever you want to call it. That isn't good. How about, here is a concept, how about we have structure before the conflict? How about we have structure before the conflict? Wouldn't that be great? Because after all, once you have conflict, silence compounds. In other words, invariably after a conflict, everyone licks their wounds, and there's the silence process. But the silence process actually only makes it worse anyway. So structure protects relationships. Structure protects relationships. So how about we go mad and be reactive or not? How about we are proactive? That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? How about we be proactive instead of reactive? Proactive before conflict. How do we become proactive before conflict? Well, surely the answer is creating structure. Structure before conflict. That's the title of this film today. How about we bring it in early to avoid escalation? Why don't we go mad and sit down calmly, without emotion preferably, and say what structures are currently missing in the business that need to come in? And why don't we do it now before we have an argument with each other, or a Benny, to quote a phrase, all right? Before we all kicks off with each other, we all get upset, and the family all of a sudden on a Sunday afternoon is out walking with the kids and the dogs, and they're not talking to each other because of what happened in the business on Thursday afternoon. We don't want that, do we? That's not what family business is about. Family businesses are all about family first. My three key philosophies in life is that, for me, it's all about values. My three values are family, fun, and fairness. Family is the number one. Fun, in other words, I like working with people that smile. And fairness, everything needs to be fair. And that fairness comes into place when you talk about structure, doesn't it? Because if you proactively put some structures in place, it'll work a lot better. Now, am I telling you that we've always done that in our family businesses? No, we haven't. But it's what I've learned. It's what I've learned working with lots of other family businesses. If you can be proactive and put some sort of structure or structures in place in the business, it stops this conflict happening. It stops the, I don't want to talk to Dad this afternoon because, frankly, I'm still ticked off with him type conversation on a Sunday afternoon when you're around a lunch table or a dinner table. So, because let's face it, although you try hard not to, the business impacts on those relationships. So let's get structure into place early in the areas that are necessary. At least if we put some sort of structure in some places, we're better off than without it. And then clarity will reduce emotional strain. Clarity will reduce emotional strain. That's the whole point, isn't it, really? But in another way, it's preventive discipline. Preventive discipline which protects the legacy. At some points in family businesses' life, it needs to go on. It may be that the people that created it are getting to the point of retiring and wanting to stop. It may be that those that are taking over inside the family are moving it forward. And putting this discipline into place will be great for them. Wouldn't it be great that if you are the head or heads of the family business, you proactively work inside the business and demonstrate to those coming through the business, i.e., siblings, children, in other words, that are coming through. Part of the thing you teach them, share with them, show what is necessary to run a family business, is that you have to be proactive, not reactive, and that you're proactively putting structures into place. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? After all, when the kids were small, you were teaching them all sorts of stuff, such as don't touch that, it's hot. It's the same thing. It's no different. It's about putting some things in place that helps them, because after all, you're still educating them. Let's switch it around. No one is too grown up or old not to learn. All right? The older I get, the more I realise, the less I know. Okay? And I learn more from my kids than anybody else. And our kids now are in their 40s. I can't believe it, but they are. And I've watched their kids teach them. And it's the same in business. Our children in business run the family business. They teach us. Well, it's just the same, isn't it? They can come to the family business and say, we need structure because I don't want to fall out with you, mom or dad. All right? So we need to put this stuff into place, and you need to hear what we have to say so that we don't fall out, because it's not what we want. That's not what the family business is for. So creating a framework where it's calm. I stress this over and over again. It's about being calm. Am I the best at this? No, I'm not. All right, because I am led by my feelings. I am not naturally a structured person, but I've learned a lot over the last 40 odd years that there are times when I have to be calm, not just with a young dog that's a young puppy where you have to be calm. You have to be calm with yourself. It's the same thing, all right? So creating a calm framework lowers risk. Now, we all know family businesses are risk adverse. 90% of family businesses are risk adverse. Occasionally it's not the case, but nearly all of us are risk adverse, which is why when life is tough, we batten down the hatches way quicker, because we see that life comes and goes, and we want to protect our families. And so therefore, to make sure our fridges remain full, we are far more risk averse. So reducing emotional strain is a big deal for us. And having a calm framework will lower the risk of challenge. So why not do it? Why not put structure into place proactively? So here's the questions. As we get to the third part of this, as I always say, let's use a process. That's not my process. It's very well known, but it works very well, which is, first of all, we think about something, we reflect on it, we decide if we need to take action, and then we do take action. But remember, if you decide not to do anything, you have actually taken action. So think, reflect, decide, act. So how about thinking about a couple of things right here for just a couple of minutes? In your business right now, what structure is missing? Easy thing for me to say, isn't it? But right now, what structure is missing in your business? I bet you there is. I'll lay odds there are structures in your business that need to be looked at. Things that are creating potential conflict, that are creating challenges. Whereas if you sit down and say, where are they? And let's have a look at it and reflect on it, decide why they are necessary, then the fact that why haven't we got a structure in place, and bring everybody into place in a calm manner and put something together, wouldn't that make sense? Not just for the business itself, but you as a family and a collective family. Or is it that we're waiting for pressure before we formalise something? Bluntly, do we wait until something kicks off before we do something? I mean, that's what it boils down to, isn't it? You know, do we wait till it kicks off? So then we're all licking our wounds and we go, do you know what, we need to do something. That's being reactive. Being proactive is to say, we don't want something to kick off. So what do we got to do? Well, probably put some structure in. All right, well, what is it? It might be something real simple. Really, really simple. Such as when I don't know, after 5 o'clock, the phones need to be answered. Who do they go to? Well, at the moment they go, this is what happens, blah, 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 blah. Actually, it's not very good. It puts people under pressure. Is this a better way? Why don't we do that? Let's put a structure in place. Simple, done. So I'm getting at, it doesn't have to be something fancy and massive. But what I do know is it's the law of marginal gains, which we hear more and more about. You know, just improving a little bit here, and here produces something that's much, much better. My belief is if you're proactively looking at structure before conflict, life is better and the relationships with the family are better. Tell me, how important is that to you? To me, it's very important. And what can we introduce before it's needed? What else can we do before it's needed? That's the thing to really think about, I guess. So this is a similar episode to one or two of the others I've done. And the reason why I've done it this way is because, unfortunately, with family businesses, ours included, we tend to be reactive. We don't intend to be. We try hard to be proactive, but the reality is because there's so much going on, there's family pressures, kids growing up, you've got schools, you've got half-term holidays, you've got all that, illnesses, all that sort of stuff going on, that we tend to have to react to it. And although it's not necessarily what we want to do, we just end up getting into that routine of being reactive. Yet I know full well that if we just take a few minutes out on a regular basis and say, how can we be proactive and knock some of this stuff on the head, and perhaps by doing so, put a simple structure in place, makes so much difference to your life. And after all, life is short. As you get older, you realise how short it really is. And family businesses are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic, but they can be a pressure cauldron. And the trick is to try and take that pressure off individuals and the family collectively, and those that are connected with it, because there is an extended family. So that's it. This is Conversations in Family Business. I'm Peter Roper, known as the Family Businessman. It's been a pleasure to share some ideas with you today. If you want to know more about me, peterroper.com or familybusinesspractice.com. There are some more thoughts and ideas that can help you in many ways. But do think about structure before conflict. And I look forward to sharing something else each and every Thursday at 12 o'clock on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thanks very much indeed for listening. See you soon.